Welcome, welcome, welcome. Bring it in, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with His Point, Her Point, Our Future, the podcast. And we're taking our guys and our girls and we're sitting down. We're talking about those topics that we have never been able to talk about before without the blow ups. We're coming to the table and we're bringing up those subjects and we're going to talk about them in order to change our future together. I'm Tony Parks, founder of LAMA Vision, and I've got my co-host with me, and we're going to get into our hot topics. Come on and go with us. Let's talk about some stuff. Okay, but here's my thing. I want to take an example of a young lady that took one of my classes. When she came to my class, she had never invested anything. She had never done didn't have any savings, none of that. She came in, she was a single mother with 3 children. She made the decision after being taught about changing her mindset toward her money to understand that it doesn't matter if you make that $300 a week. What matters is what you do with it.
So the person that you would seek out, does that person have to have his finances in order or her finances in order at the time that you meet them? Is that the expectation?
They have to have kids with cell phones that cost astronomical amounts of money. Uh, let's also talk about how technology, these phones that they have, how this technology that they're carrying is having an effect on how they're being raised.
All I see is blessings, got no time for stressing. Don't believe in failures in my life, it's only lessons. They just making room for what I'm on now. I don't got a clue, but I know the one who does know how. Oh, wow.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to His Point, Her Point, Our Future, a division of LAMA Vision. I want to welcome you all tonight, and we're here with my cohorts this evening, and we're going to have a little discussion about technology, budgeting, and raising our kids. And we're going to bring it all together. What I really want to go ahead and hit on is, please help me understand, guys, how it is that we can have individuals, moms, dads, together, single, married, otherwise, who can afford to purchase cell phones, iPhones for their kids, 12, whatever, 10, 11, 12, yet they don't have a budget. They have no savings. They're not investing, whether in the stock market, real estate, or anything. So help me understand this. How do we get out to our community that it's more important for you to be doing those things rather than buying that iPhone?
Easy. They all living like the Joneses. That's just as simple as that. You go from every way everybody's living. If next door got a Cadillac, guess what? I'm gonna have something to beat that Cadillac out. I'm gonna have a Mercedes the next day. It's just the way we are. That's the way our community has been. It's always been that way. We live for the Joneses. It's no sense in the fact that how these people look one day and then the next day we're totally different.
Well, let's tie that in. I think if we look at it from another perspective, our people suffer from a lack, and sometimes, well, a lot of times we tie our self-esteem up to stuff. What we have, what we don't have. When you are born into poverty, a lot of times they might value or feel like their self-esteem is better if they can purchase a Louis Vuitton purse or an iPhone Max Plus.
Okay, but help me understand it. You walking around with a Louis Vuitton purse and you got that wallet in there and it's empty. Come on now.
It's the perception.
Let's get down to it.
It's just the perception. You got to understand. All right, if we look at statistics in United States of America, we have over 73% of the households are living from check to check. Now that's just fact. And then we got 21% is living below poverty level. That's just facts. But now in the black community, it is much higher. You have over 80% of the households living from check to check. But yet we still live this lavish lifestyle where, guess what? Most Mercedes are purchased in the black community than any other community.
But is it lavish though? I mean, it might be a Mercedes, but I guarantee you it has all types of problems and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but name speaks for themselves.
But when you buy a Mercedes, you got to think about the upkeep on it. And I'm sorry, I drive a GMC. I love my GMC, but I can afford to maintain my GMC. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I could have gone out here. We could buy Mercedes. We could buy, BMW. We can buy these Jags. We can buy all of that. But at the end of the day, when I go home, I don't want to be eating peanut butter and jelly. So the mindset has got to change. We've got to change the mindset. If my child is 12 years old, I'm not going to buy my child a phone that costs $1,000 when I can take that $1,000 and put it into a college fund for him. But I think the problem is those same parents that are doing that have never been taught how to handle their finances.
There you go. That's where the rubber meets the road right there. We can talk about saving. We can talk about investing. The fear that we have as blacks of putting our money somewhere that in something that we don't understand, and don't understand the long-term benefits of doing so. A lot of black families are suffering now, and so I'm not going to say that everybody takes their money and try to live our lavish lifestyle, but when you live in check to check, there are things you have to maintain.
I don't know.
Check to check.
If Gucci got a sale, I don't know.
Well, I have a young lady
It's
I
on.
know.
It's on if Gucci got a sale. I'm just sorry to say.
No, it's not always what you have to do. So a lot of times it's what you want to do. Because the bottom line is this. If I'm making $300 a week, $1,200 a month, I shouldn't have a car note that's $500-$600 a month. There's no way I should be doing that. Okay, but here's my thing. I want to take an example of a young lady that took one of my classes. When she came to my class, she had never invested anything. She had never done didn't have any savings, none of that. She came in, she was a single mother with 3 children. She made the decision after being taught about changing her mindset toward her money to understand that it doesn't matter if you make that $300 a week. What matters is what you do with it. Today, as of last week, she closed on her home. Okay, that was it. It took her about a year to do that. So what I'm saying is, how do we get into our communities? How do we get people in our communities to come into these free classes and take these classes to learn how to handle their money, where they can drive that Mercedes-Benz and it doesn't hurt to drive it?
Well, you need to give out free food.
I'll tell you.
That's the only way you're going to get them. That's the only way you're going to get them in, man. I'm just being serious.
Two sayings. You know better, you do better. The next thing is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Once you present yourself or your class to them, those that will. Those that won't, you got to keep it moving. Kudos to that young lady you're talking about. But, when you think of that type of commitment, what did it take for you to get her to make that commitment? Or was that something that she already wanted to do?
I have her testimonials, and for her, she said the thing that changed her mind was understanding that it didn't matter how much money she was making, because in her mind, she had to make a certain amount of money to be able to have a high yield savings account, to be able to have an investment, a brokerage account. She thought, and this is a misconception amongst our people, is that they think that they have to have thousands and thousands or millions of dollars to do what really we could get them started in doing it with $50. Okay, so when you get that stimulus check, I come knocking down your door and I'm like, okay, we're going to take that stimulus check and we're going to turn your life around.
Then I think you might need to catch them in November or December.
You better catch them before they
buy them iPhones.
Prior to
You better
income
catch them
tax.
before the sale. You better catch them.
Prior to income tax coming in. Because one of the things that I know that, okay, a mother with 3 children can work 6 months out of the year. Her income tax return will probably be close to 10 grand, nothing less than 7. And not knowing what to do with it, we do what we've always done.
Creating a generational
We
issue.
live above our means. Period. We
Well,
always
sometimes
have.
we don't live. Sometimes we
well,
just
I don't know.
like
even
you said.
even in the projects, we live above our means.
Well, I think that we cannot. What we can't do is generalize, because you do have people in the black community
Statistics show.
that are working hard and understand that they're working hard to achieve something, but they don't
Just
have
don't
the
know
knowledge
how.
to
That's
achieve
it.
what it
That's
is
it.
they're
That's
trying
right.
to reach.
But you
That's
gotta
it.
understand, once they fall in that hole, then you have to worry about their credit score. Then how are you gonna get this money from the bank? The bank is not gonna give you anything out of this.
Well, let's
so
be honest.
So we gotta dig. You gotta dig deep. It's deeper than what we're just coming off with the surface, and it goes back further than this.
Well, no, I think
on
what we do
generational
is
wealth
it
and
starts
all
with
this
a
and that is not
mindset. We
even
got to
given.
change their minds about how they're handling their money, how they see their money.
But the
You
question
know-
becomes, how do you start? Now, this is where we agree. My parents can't teach me something that they've never had or never seen. So finding
I
the person
disagree,
to
but I'm gonna let you go with
to break that cycle. If my parents never been to college and never fill out a financial aid form, then they can't instruct me on how to do so. They don't even know where to send me or where to start. But if I want to go to college, I have to make up my mind that I'm going to pursue it and find a financial aid advisor, somebody to help me.
Yeah, but schools do not even teach you how to take care of money. They only teach you how to go to get a job.
Exactly, but I think that's where parents come in, and we need to start teaching our parents differently. Now, you said that if your mom had not done a particular thing, she couldn't teach you how to do it, and I disagree with that, because my parents came to this country from another country, okay, not knowing how to do what it is that they taught me to do, that I now teach others to do.
You're right. They came from another country, so they didn't have all that depression on them. They didn't have all this racism on them. They didn't have all this.
Oh,
I
no,
can
no,
understand.
come
I
on
can
now.
understand somebody coming
No,
in from another country,
my
not
dad
seeing or
was
going through it.
a
I can understand that.
dark-skinned Cuban.
I don't matter.
In Cuba, dark-skinned individuals are next to nothing. They're
But they
considered
still
nothing.
black.
But here's my thing. Let's get back to what you said. They didn't know. I'm going to disagree with you, because see, coming from Cuba or some of these considered third world countries, they learned how to make do with nothing early in life because they had no choice.
And they don't even
So
consider
learning
themselves
how to save was a part of it. Learning how to make $1 out of 15 cents was a part of it. They know better than we do as Americans. You know
Oh,
why?
yes,
Because every
absolutely.
time we get something, you got commercials, you got the Joneses, you got the latest and the greatest. We don't take up saving. We don't even preserve. We throw away more food than any other country in the world. So we don't value anything. So I disagree with you. Your dad came here knowing how to make something happen, and because America provided him opportunity, he took advantage of it. But when you're born here and you see
right.
that same cycle, then you repeat it. You repeat it until somebody bring you to the knowledge of, hey, if you want something different, you gotta what? Do something different.
Okay, so basically, we need to get to a place where we teach our people. Somehow we need to come up with a way to get with our parents and get our parents to understand that just because mom or grandma did whatever, that doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing. You don't have to repeat time, because what we're looking at is generational poverty. That's exactly what it is. And I mean,
I agree.
same children that it's a cycle.
Exactly.
That's it. But I replaced the word of how to get them to do something with offering or empowering. Again, when you offer it, those that will. And
yeah.
those that won't, they're gonna keep doing what they want to do. So even if it's 2 out of 5, then that's progress for that family. Mm-hmm. And maybe because of the Joneses, when you see Sally make it or LaQuisha, then you might feel like if she can do it, I can do it. Mm-hmm. And so maybe they might mimic or say, girl, how did you, well, Miss Tony had a class. So I think just offering it and just taking, if it's just one person, and seeing the difference in their lives and their testimony, as you said earlier, then maybe we can begin to shift and change that cycle.
Yeah, we've got to get to a place where we can shift because our children shouldn't be running around with cell phones and that cost $1,000 and yet they parents can't meet rent, they can't buy food, they can't do all of that. So the trajectory of that, everyone, is that we need to be talking. We need to keep having these conversations. We need to expand upon these conversations because we got to change our current system.
I agree with you.
Okay, so since we're touching on kids with cell phones that cost astronomical amounts of money, uh, let's also talk about how technology, these phones that they have, how this technology that they're carrying is having an effect on how they're being raised. Okay, are they being raised by their parents or are they being raised by the internet? What we working with, guys?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to walk around without a cell phone because it seems like that's a lifeline to breath for a lot of people now.
Here's the
we
kicker, though.
count on it so much in our life that we can't go without it right now. I just can't see. I can see we're losing a tower and what would actually happen in the neighborhood.
Let's look at this though. Let's think about how many times that we've been out in a restaurant or in our own homes at a dinner table, and children. That's right. Rather than having a conversation with their parents, they're deadlocked in their phones. And let's be honest. Sometimes the parents are deadlocked in their phone along with the children. So there's no more conversation at the dinner table about how was your day, what's going on in your life, or how's school going, or what did you do today. So I think that technology is not only raising our children, but it's also
Making
taking
them
up time
lazy.
with our parents.
It's making them lazy as well.
Could we agree that, yes, we need technology, our children need phones because of where we are right now. But can we talk about content? The content that they may be accessing, is that having an effect on how our children are being raised? Should parents have more input into the content? Should we be watching over the content that they're accessing on those phones?
I don't think that should ever stop. I think as a parent, you have a moral obligation, to know what your child is viewing.
It's just like closing your door. Man, we couldn't close our door back in the days,
Right.
man.
Right.
No parents would be on our butt. We closed that
Right.
door. That's exactly what it is, and that's why you got all these young kids running around. These parents don't know that they're carrying guns. They're carrying this. They're carrying that, and they're depressed or whatever. They don't know the situation behind the child because they're not involved in their child life. They allow the technology to go ahead and raise them.
So what we're talking about really that cell phone technology is an addiction.
In China, they put it as an addiction, and guess what? In China, kids are not allowed to be on the PS5 and 6 or whatever, but 1 hour out of a day. In China, they're allowed, and it's considered as almost like a drug.
Well, it is a drug.
Yeah.
It's a certified addiction. Yeah, but how do we combat that? I think the first thing we have to do is hold ourselves accountable. Again, and not give our attention to so many other things instead of our children. Because just think about it. I used to have everybody's number right here. Mm-hmm. Now, if you take my cell phone, I might remember 2 or 3 numbers. Yeah. Lose your phone,
But see,
lose your life.
and talking about that, speaking of that, when we start looking at our children and they're on this technology and they have global access in their hands, should our kids not be doing much better?
Here's the catch.
Than what
No,
they are?
because it's not teaching them how to read most of the time because you have videos on this and that. And the problem is in our community, our young boys are reading at a 4th grade level. So technology is not doing too well in that era.
Catch-22. They're smart in some areas, but they're weak on common sense and survival skills.
Can that be taught through technology?
You know what? Not for us. You don't learn how to have an encounter with the police through technology. You don't learn how to memorize your social security number or your home phone number, your parents' phone number. We're taking out again, like I said earlier. They lose a lot. We've lost a lot. You know, even having fun. If we didn't have PlayStations and such, our parents always said what? Go outside.
Go
and play.
outside.
Don't come in and out of this house. Let my air out.
That's right. And you coming in before
That's right.
that light come on, you're gonna be in that house. But see, why you think obesity is a big thing in the United States, and that's one of the things that's hindering us right now today is these technology. We're not outside, we're not exercising, we're not getting ourselves in shape, we're not and that's what this pandemic has came in and took advantage of that as well. We need to drop the cell phones, drop the PC5s, drops all these things and get active. We need to be active.
Maybe take a page out of China's book, and it's kind of odd to say, but maybe limit. You know, okay. For one, my son knows that during the week there's no PlayStation, there's no gaming. During the week it's strictly homework. You know, if it's not homework, then we're gonna talk about something. You know, but there's absolutely no gaming.
That's why the
Monday
kids
through
don't
Friday.
go to Mac House.
I see. I'm guilty because my kids play their games throughout the week. So and a lot of that comes from what you said because I'm working so much. You know, I work around the clock. So my kids have a lot of time to kind of, once they get their homework done and I've got them situated, I'm like, okay, they can go do their thing. But I will say this. What I decided to do with my kids is because I did realize that they were having too much time on their tech and their
Parents
games
are
and
saying
things.
here.
No, what I did was, for Christmas, I planned a trip for them for Christmas, and I have two of my male friends that are coming. They're gonna take, and we have 4 guys, 4 young men that will be there, and we have 2 adult males, black males that will be there. They have a plan for them where they can't have any cell phones. No cell phones for 4 days. We'll
PC5,
be in
I
the
bet they had that.
mountains.
They had a PC5.
So, we're going to see how this work out, America, because I'm just like, okay, and we got to come too. They're like, yeah, the moms have got to come. We got to go.
So
But
are you
I'm
guys giving up
excited
your
about it.
technology also? No, Are you giving up your phone also?
I got to work. Well, no, I'm just kidding.
Look at that.
This is actually a time for, as a single mom, this idea came to me from a
Reflect.
friend of mine for them to have time with these young men, for them to sow into these young men. Okay, so, you know, they got, okay.
So you're not giving up your technology?
Wait, but I need technology because I have a job. They don't have a job. That's a little different.
You know, sacrifices, if we're going to expect them to do something different. Jesse, see the technology, that's prime example right there.
I need it.
That right there is the very reason we're having this conversation. And we shouldn't limit it to just children. You know, but if we're going to expect something different of them, we're going to lead by example.
Okay, so are we saying that technology really is helping parents raise their kids? Okay, so you got technology married to mom and dad, and they're raising the children together, and then we got technology still raising us as adults.
Well, I mean, that's just the way life is ran now. I mean, you look at AI. AI is running this world. Planes are flying by themselves. Cars are riding by themselves.
Artificial intelligence, folks. AI, artificial intelligence, which I don't trust, you know, because, again, you're having wrecks with
It won't be
these
long
cars
before we
driving
have soldiers.
themselves.
It won't be long before we have soldiers. It won't be long before you have everything going to that technology. So, I mean, it's out there. They done poured billions of dollars in it. It's not going away.
No, it's not going anywhere. But I think on a serious note, what we need to do is actually, as parents, myself included, we need to become more accountable for our children's time. Okay?
That's it.
And making sure that we're accountable for our time as well.
That's it.
Because if we can control our time and our time on technology and how much we work trying to obtain the things, that American dream, if you will, I think if we take time out for our kids, pulling them off of their technology, that gives us more of input to raise them.
I agree.
100.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Come back for the next segment as we continue trying to figure out how our finances play a role in raising our children and how our children are raised, what we do, what we don't do, and the decisions that we make.
Let's have a little fun with finances on a serious conversation, but yet we're going to make this one interesting. Let's talk about love, relationship, and how finances affect relationships, marriages, the dating scene. Let's talk about what folks want or look for as opposed to love in comparison to finances. So the person that you would seek out, does that person have to have his finances in order or her finances in order at the time that you meet them? Is that the expectation?
They have to have, it doesn't have to be perfect, because I know how to help them. If they're willing to learn, I can get them where they need to be. However, I don't want to have to
You're
come
going to have a lot of days if you help them get where they need to be.
He got to have an idea where he wants to go, and he has to have a plan. You know, I don't want to have to come in and
Fix them.
support you. Yeah, because I've done that. You know, I've gone in and, you know, I'm like, okay, I can fix him. You know, I can teach him what he needs to know. You can't do that. No. So experience has taught me that some people, they don't want to learn. You have some men who just connect to women just because of what that woman has, what she carries, what she knows.
I don't think so.
I bet you don't.
No, because men don't look at women for how much money they make. Women does that. That's just simple.
I absolutely disagree.
We do not
Let me
look. Men don't
I've
care.
been the
Men, I
breadwinner
never
in
see.
my
I never
house. I
because
disagree with that.
Men don't look at that. Men, we never cared about how much money she got. We never cared. We cared about how she looked. We didn't care about how much money she got. Who cared about that?
Oh, you got men that care about that.
No.
Yeah,
no.
you do.
Because on every first date, I ain't never seen a woman. And I've dated some high powered women. They never came out of their pocket on the first date. They never have because we does that. So I don't know where they come from.
Okay, so you're telling me that
And I'm
there
telling
are no
you
men
that-
out here that look for women for the finances. If
To
that's
say
the case,
no
wait,
man,
if
I'm
that's
not
the
saying no. I'm
case,
saying
please
I'm saying
help me
majority.
understand.
Remember
Majority
now,
of the men.
we're not generalizing, but I guess the question becomes, what's more important, finding your soulmate or finding your financial?
Finding your soulmate. Because if you find your soulmate, you can build together because you'll be on one accord.
Relationship is a business. Period. I mean, it's just a business. And all that love and all that has nothing to do with it. Because at the end of the day, and when they separate, you don't go to the judge and talk about, let me give me some of that love back. It's a business. You split
Okay,
up.
Jesse,
you split
you
up
hit him with a
assets.
Tina- with a
You
Tina
split up
Turner.
assets. You split up things. You don't split up love. You don't. It's a business. It's all a business. If I go into a relationship,
Okay.
I'm going into a relationship with a business aspect of looking at it. And then everybody else, I think, probably will too.
Since you brought up splitting, how does finances affect a relationship when there's a split? Or does finance or the lack of cause splits?
It can lead to that. I have seen where you have couples in a relationship, but they are not in the same place financially. Especially today, you have a lot of women who are building businesses. We're getting out there. We're doing things, unprecedented things. And you have a lot of men we're surpassing the salaries and things like that some of the men
talking about
at home
equal pay
are
now.
making. And that becomes a problem for insecure men.
I would prefer to have a mate that can, even if she can't meet me there, to bring something to the table. There was a segment that Jesse talked about the 60s. times have changed. It takes two to have a middle class life in most cases. You might have that successful mate that might make six figures, but does that guarantee a healthy relationship? Does money fix all?
Money does not fix all. It's mindset. It's complete mindset of both parties. Money plays a role if the mindset is not mature enough to handle the money situation.
Yeah, but that's one of the largest reasons why they're having divorces is money, stress. All that plays a role in the household.
Well, that's why before two people get together, they need to have their
comes from
finances in
all that
order
comes from
already.
infidelity, all that comes from money. People don't understand it. Money.
Let's explore that, Jesse, because I'm not Jesse, but I'm going to disagree with what you just said. And you said, having two people have their finances together. To me, how you taught, I always wanted somebody that they were with me thick and thin.
Right.
And when you can grow with somebody and build that relationship, together, then that's more important to me than just having money. Because as a young man, if I had money, I don't know if I would have been settled. Me with money, we talk about boys and their toys. The more money you have when you're younger, the more toys you're going to have. And that includes your dating lifestyle. And maybe that came from not having a stable household on myself. But, to me, a relationship is much stronger when you can build together and you can understand and respect and enjoy the rags to riches story together. Or even if you with me and you with me when I have nothing, and then when I obtain some things, then the fact that you were there, I owe you.
But that still goes back to prior to the relationship, the inception of the relationship. Those two people have to have an understanding of their money. They have to have control of their money. I don't care how much they make. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about the amount that they make. I'm talking about having the mindset to understand that what I make, I'm handling it properly. You see what I'm saying? And when you come into a relationship and you have two people who are there to do that, they could be making $15,000 a year, but they understand what to do with that $15,000 a year. And then from there, they agree and come up with a plan to grow that $15,000 a year.
So you said there needs to be a conversation about finances when you are dating.
So I had my bishop ask me, my classes came out of a conversation like that, where my bishop asked me, we were talking about how to bring singles together. And my response to that was, well, before we talk about bringing them together, we need to make sure that individually they're stable. Like I said, it doesn't matter the amount that you're making. It matters what you're doing with what you're making.
So what about the saying, no romance without finance? Is that a true statement? Is that a fair statement?
No romance without finance.
Correct.
It depends on the person, I think. I would honestly say it depends on the person. And the reason I say that is because you got some women who, they be like, okay, wait a minute, he broke, he ain't got nothing. No, he's not someone that I would be bothered with.
Ooh.
But you have some women who are secure enough within themselves to be able to say, I see the potential.
Oh,
and
no.
because I see the potential, I can work with that.
You can't go to McDonald's and look at a guy and sit there and say, "Oh, I see the potential in him doing them fries." He has it. He has exactly what I'm looking for. No, it don't come like that.
But what if that guy just retired from the military? He's like, okay, I need something I want to do. That may not be his primary source of income. You don't know that.
You don't know that. Why is he at McDonald's?
He might want something to do.
This is okay.
Hold on. Our producer chimed in. He's what producer?
I tell you what, you can sit there.
That sounds like a personal story.
You can sit there and say that, but he's gonna have competition.
True.
So he can be back there with them fries all day long and have several other jobs, but that's not written on him. We don't have an application. All we know is he back there doing fries. Somebody else pull up in the Mercedes. Oh, now he has potential. I see potentials in that Mercedes he's driving.
No, because
yes, they do. That's the
that
women.
guy driving that Mercedes.
Oh
He
my.
may be so insecure, stuck on himself, unable to commit. He may have so many issues.
He's gonna
going on
catch
with
attention
him
before that guy with the
woman
fries
doesn't want to
do.
be caught up with that.
He gonna catch
She
the
would
one with
rather
the fries.
have someone that she knows she's gonna have a stable relationship with.
Oh, you
I
not
think what we
speaking for
all
the
can
majority.
agree on is that love and finances are both important. Yeah, but there should be a conversation on how
Absolutely.
to make and balance the two.
Absolutely.
Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah.
Well, Jesse, see, yeah. So look.
Okay. We're not gonna get Jesse Crunk again. With that said, we're gonna move on into our next segment,
Bling bling gonna
and we're
always
gonna
win.
leave love and finances right there.
Okay, guys, we're back for our next segment of Hot Topics, and next we're going to touch on online dating, the pros and cons of same. So, Matt, Jesse, tell me about your online dating experiences.
Online dating for men is totally different than what it means for women. Not that I have ever dated online, because I haven't, but when I think of online, I think of just being honest, and I'm not Jesse, but I'm gonna say this because it's the truth. Most men, when they think of online dating, they think of what? Sex.
Oh, so yeah. Exactly right. They think it's sex. Because that's exactly what it's about. I mean, you gotta understand, you coming into a world of lonely women. And all you gotta do is say the right thing, and the lonely women come in your direction. I mean, that's
Jesse. Now, I didn't say that. That's Jesse thought on pros and cons of online dating.
but
Online dating for me is just not my thing. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable not meeting a person the old-fashioned way. And just for me, our thought process is different. I'm not sure what I'm walking into, who I'm walking into, so I'm just not comfortable.
But that's the
with
same
it.
when you run into a person, when you meet them at the club. You still don't know who you ran into.
Yeah, but I'd rather gauge them by seeing them and meeting them in person rather than talking to somebody
You still haven't
online.
met that person because they bringing up a whole new identity once they meet you. Once they meet you, they're bringing up a whole new identity. That's the opportunity to start over. That's all there is to it. It's an opportunity to start over.
I agree with that to an extent. I know there's this saying we have: when you first meet a person, you don't meet them, you meet their representative. You meet who they want you to see at that time.
Come on, preach that now.
So with that, if I'm talking to you face to face and we're sitting across from each other, there's some things that I can say to you and I can gauge your response and your reaction. There's nothing like good old fashioned face to face, as the older generation say, courting. When you can just meet a person and you can just sit and talk to them. At some point, if they're not genuine, if I can sit across from you, something's gonna happen. It's gonna show me, hey, okay, red flag. Now I might not do nothing with it right then because I'm enjoying the moment.
But that's the point. Now you got to make that approach. The approach. That's where it all comes to. Okay, now if there's a group of women, 5 women standing over there, you have to man up, go over there and make your approach. But in the dating site, we're meeting on equal ground. It's something that you like, and it's something I like that brought us together. And then you can talk about it. And then, first of all, she has to have a liking for you. So you know already automatically this person has agreed to what she's seen in the picture. Or he agreed to what he's seen in the picture.
2 things with that.
But
first of all, is the picture actually you, and is the profile in which you agreed to sit down and say the things that you like, do you actually like them?
You do things to make that profile what it is. Hey, take a picture at Walmart holding a banana. Hey, there it is right there. Everybody ain't got one. You know it's that individual. I mean, it's ways you go about it. It's ways to do things. So everything can work out.
Work out short term, long term. What's the goal?
Well, you gotta understand.
Define working out.
It-
What's
it's,
working
it's,
out?
Okay, we going through a pandemic where everybody's left in the house. So you look around, all these single women and single men are sitting at the house.
What do you think about
The
Jesse?
first thing they're gonna jump on is that technology.
What do you think about Jesse? What do you think about sitting at home during the pandemic?
What you think, man? Anything else?
Tony, you gonna step in, Tony?
Can we get
Tony,
back?
you gonna step in and help us? You gonna step in and balance this thing out, Tony? I'm not agreeing with Jesse. I'm just asking Jesse what
What
they
you
think about.
think they gonna think, man?
I just when I think about the pros and cons of online dating, I tried it, okay, and my initial thought process of online dating was something I would never do. I would never do for safety reasons, for people that misrepresent themselves, things like that. Okay, so I've done it. I did. I met someone one time, and we actually hit it off.
Did you meet him in person at
Initially.
some point? Did you meet him in person at some point?
We did. We met in a public place, and like I said, hit it off. Had a great conversation, and it went into the direction of the possibility of going into a great friendship, because neither of us were interested in a relationship. So it was like, okay, yeah, we can, foster a great friendship out of this. But let me tell you what happens when you start spending time with someone, whether friend, whatever. You start spending one-on-one time with them, then things start happening, So, but what I found was that I wasn't able to get to know this person the way that I think I would have been able to had we met outside of online.
Gotcha.
Because generally for me, I don't meet people outside of my circle. And when I say my circle, I have to meet them in church, or they'd have to around one of my colleagues, something like that. So if we don't function in the same circles, I probably would not meet him, So, and having met him online, he was someone that I would not have met in my circle.
Why did you immediately go to y'all find out y'all were better friends? What happened in your experience? And this can be considered something on the pros that told both of you guys, because I'm thinking you guys agreed that you'd be better friends. Or was he aggressive and you just said we'll be better off friends?
I think what happened was that when the feelings started creeping in, he was not there. I don't think he was mature enough to be there. You see what I'm saying?
Okay,
I don't think the
define there.
commitment level was there.
Now you see what I mean by men and women think two different ways? When every time you say creeping in, you're talking about feelings and going on. I guarantee you, Brother Jay over there thinking about, oh, okay, they were, it was feelings. But for women, intimacy doesn't mean sex.
Exactly. We look at it completely different. Even having been married, I can tell you that in my marriage, the things that my ex-husband would do that attracted me the most were taking some of my work off of me when I came home. Doing stuff around the house, laundry or whatever, that I didn't have to do. Making sure the kids were situated, so I didn't have to do that. Those are the things that draw women. To women, those are the things that, if you want a woman and you want her to be available to you every night, go do something for her that she would normally have to do for herself.
Jesse, your online dating experience.
Up and down. Up and down. It's nothing more you can say about it. Sometimes you run into something good. Sometimes you run into something bad. But it's
Describe
just,
to me something bad. Tell us about a bad experience. Give us some cons of online dating.
Well, what they call catfishing. That means when a person don't appear to be who they are, or they come back with a picture from 10 years ago, and all of a sudden they obese
That's
once you see them.
catfish.
That's catfishing. Or it just don't look. They just don't look the part. You know. I mean, you gotta understand, man. It's like I said, they inventing somebody new. You gotta see who they invented. I mean, that's
Just,
just the way it
what are you
goes.
looking for when you looking for someone online to date?
Well, when you're looking for someone online to date, it all depends on what era you in. Now, you can look online for someone to date for meaningful things like such as marriage and all that. But then again, once you get into it and dig deep and deep and deep, you can see where sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not there.
Okay.
It's only the little things, and it's just the little things.
I don't want to knock online dating because I know people who have met online.
Yes,
and
of
have
course.
been married for many years.
Right.
It
Right.
worked.
I do too.
It worked for them. So I don't want to knock it, but I think that they are the minority in that. I don't think that. I don't know for me, and this may just be for me, but I think if I've been around someone for a period of time, I would be more comfortable entering into a relationship than I would just meeting someone, because having like that person that I met online it just didn't work, because I didn't really know them, they didn't really know me, and it was like you be like, what's that? I don't know. That ain't.
But isn't that the fun part of dating online or in person? Is not where you start. Of course, we want the ending, but isn't it the things in the middle? Isn't it going through the process of getting to know someone, doing things that are fun, and in the end, hoping that it comes together?
That is an awesome thing. I think if you are privy to that, I think today we don't have that as much because everybody is so busy creating whatever they're
Good point.
creating, whatever
Good
life,
point.
wherever life is leading them. They're busy doing that.
Good
So I
point.
don't think that people take the time to get to know one another. When they first run up against, the first obstacle, it's like, oh, I'm out. I can't deal with that because there's no substance. There's no depth.
And maybe fear, maybe fear of what that limit is with that person. How do they deal with anger? How do they deal with disappointment? How do they deal with rejection? And rejection being defined as just saying, no, I don't want to do that. Or I don't like going hiking, or I don't like that movie, or I don't like going to clubs. And so that,
But I think that's kind of trial and error, and I think that is a basis for any relationship. Even in a marriage, you have people that have been married for many, many years, and they're still continually learning their mate because we are ever evolving. We're always evolving. When you put two people together that are unable, if you have one that's unable to evolve with that partner or with that spouse, you run into that brick wall where they say, "Oh, well, I fell out of love with them." No, you dropped off at some
But
evolutionary
everything
point.
is a chance. Everything is a chance. You got to understand. The first thing you was told, I was told, to meet someone special, someone good, was what? Go to church. Man, that's over now. People don't go to church to meet a mate nowadays because you never know what you're meeting at the church. You just don't. I
You
mean,
got some stuff in
they can sit
church
there.
that's
They can sit
cute.
there.
You got some men that go to church just to look for women.
Well,
Period.
because they was told that's where to go to get them. I mean, that's just what they say. Go if you want to get.
not to get them, but to get
Well, to
a
get you
good
a relationship.
woman.
Well, they
yeah,
say
can I
it-
tell you it's good.
Yeah, but that don't mean
But
that
not all
she's
women
good.
in church are good either.
That's
I
right,
agree.
because she was at the club
I-
Saturday
Not all
night.
men are in
She
church
was
are
what,
good.
Jess?
She was at the club Saturday night. I remember. I remember. Boy, look at here. It's just how it is. You can't twerk the night and then come into church and then get the ghost. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Just
Jess,
don't worry.
we got you. We got you. So we can all agree that relationships, whether online or whether in person, it takes work and chance.
Yes.
A lot
All
of
our
chance,
chances.
and I think that I don't know. I think people have to be more secure within themselves, because if you're secure within yourself, I think you have the ability to endure in a relationship. But when you're insecure, your insecurities can cause you to make decisions that otherwise you may not make. You're more there. I think people are quicker to leave or quicker to be incooperative in a relationship when they're insecure about something. And a lot of times, really, that can be solved by communication.
Communication is the key, whether online or in person. Trust, but verify, but definitely be willing to do the work.
Agreeable.
All right.
Okay, well, that's our segment on online dating pros and cons. I think it's an individual decision. It works for some, it doesn't work for others, and good luck with that, guys. We'll see you on the next segment.
Peace.
Thank you all so much for joining us on His Point, Her Point, Our Future, where we're having the conversations that are changing the trajectory of our community. Why don't you hit us up? We want to hear from you. You can reach us on our YouTube channel, Facebook, or Instagram. Just search for LAMA Vision. We want to hear from you, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next show. From His Point, Her Point, Our Future, come on, let's talk about it.
No matter what the odds may bring our way, I can see the blessings coming our way, yeah, yeah, yeah. Blessings on blessings, yeah. I can see the blessings coming our way.